Looking at the grasshopper, huh?
Yeah.
Good choice. Time is money.
Yes.
Imagine faster mowing speeds, true zero-turn maneuverability, effortless control. You'll cut your mowing time in half. Plus dependability, backed by one of the best warranties in the industry.
I'll take it.
Super. I'll get someone to help you.
You don't work here?
No.
Alice, your husband Herb is here again.
Get more details on the mower turf care professionals prefer at your nearby Grasshopper dealer today.
Floyd's Echo Computers at 2718 Boulevard Plaza offers computer solutions instead of computer questions. Don't put up with one more blank stare from a kid whose only concern is how much longer his shift is. You want quality service and fair prices. Floyd's Echo Computers is where you'll find it. PC or Mac, if it's a computer, Floyd's will give you the quality service you deserve. Get a computer custom built to your needs. Rentals start at just $10 a week. Call 687-3335. Floyd's Echo Computers. Open 10 to 6 Monday through Saturday.
Downtown Wichita, James Barfield, Cheryl Nunn, Bill Journey, and tonight, RJ Dickens. Now, KCTU 5 presents Wichita's oldest talk program, the River City Forum.
Good evening and welcome to the River City Forum. I'm RJ Dickens. We're glad you could be with us on this Tuesday night. I hope that you had a chance to watch the news special that we just ran. It was kind of an interesting thing it was an interesting idea when Ron posed it. Why don't we just do half an hour of uninterrupted, unedited, uncommentated video and let people see it for themselves and judge for themselves. And now you've had a chance to do that, to have an opportunity to experience some of what we experienced in Lawrence this last Sunday. And that was just an incredible experience. I admit that we didn't get all of it because there was one nasty little advanced person there that seemed to think that anybody that wasn't a Kansas City station wasn't worth accommodating. But Ron gave her a little what for. If you've ever seen Ron when he's angry, you'd know that she stopped that after a while. But it was an interesting experience. I have had a lot of fun. I've had the opportunity to speak on several occasions with Senator Edwards on broadcast policy over the years. And I've always, as you know, I've always found him to be not only a good listener, but an active listener, which is something you don't find on either side of the aisle in Washington very much. But that is just one of the things we can talk about. We can talk about the arena. We can talk about the latest demands from the police department. They are wanting another 5% raise on top of the 2.5% all the other city employees got. Do you think that's fair? So we can talk about that. Anything you want to talk about, that's what we'll talk about. Give us a call, 267-8855. If you're watching us outside the Wichita area, that number is 866-267-8855, anywhere in the North American continent. Or if you're watching us on the internet, you don't want to drop that phone line, you can ICQ us anywhere in the world at 4200-4899. And any way you want to talk to us, we want to talk to you. I'm curious to see what you thought of what you heard. And I'm sure we'll get a lot of opinions, and some of them may not be so favorable. But and it's not that, you know, would the Republicans give us the same opportunity? I don't know. But if they do, we'll gladly do the same thing. Because I think it's an interesting way to portray the campaign, to see the same thing that we saw without the editing or the commentary or anything else. So I'm hoping that you at least enjoy the unique perspective that we were able to give you tonight. But as I said, we were glad to bring that to you. It's been an interesting week since then because of the fallout from this. You know, 1,500 people showed up the first time. And then 48 hours later, with less than 24 hours notice, 3 times that many people came. And so that was an interesting perspective to have that happen. But we're going to take a short break here, and we will be back with your phone calls as the River City Forum continues on KCTU 5 right after these messages. And we are back, and before we go to the phones, I want to take a quick moment to remind you about our good friends at the Prospector, where every week, at over 575 locations throughout south central Kansas, you can get a complete rundown of Wichita nightlife, hundreds of bargains in the classified ads, the weekly newspaper columns by Ron Nutt, Cheryl Nutt, and myself, and of course, most importantly, the KCTU 5 lineup, which you won't find anywhere else. So make sure you pick up a Prospector, because if you don't get it every week, you just don't get it. And right now, let's go to the phones and let's talk to Ron. Hi, Ron. What's on your mind tonight?
Well, I wanted to see why you were so excited about getting a bunch of Democrats down here in a Republican state. It just seemed like that was a little backed up to me.
And why is that?
Well, you're so excited because there was 1,500 people came out.
3,500.
That was the second time. Yeah.
Right, the first time, but like I said, I want to talk a little bit about that. I'm going to talk about Friday night a little bit more in the program, but the thing of it is what was exciting about this was the opportunity to be able to bring you the event as it happened, basically, with a few edits here and there, just basically when we had to move for security reasons. Yeah, I mean, and of course, as I said, if a similar opportunity presents itself, if if Vice President Cheney, or better yet, President Bush comes to Kansas, we'll do the same thing. I mean, this was just an interesting event because it happened so spontaneously that nobody was expecting this kind of a reaction. People were expecting, in fact, the people of the Kerry Edwards campaign said they'd be happy if 800 people showed up, and they had almost 6 times that. So I think that was just, and the fact that the event was set up at 2 o'clock on a Saturday afternoon, it went off at 1 o'clock on a Sunday afternoon, and in that time, as disconnected as people are nowadays, you had that kind of a response. That was surprising. Nobody expected it, especially after the rain. I mean, it was just torrential rain.
With all of the media and things that you got, how can you say people are disconnected? I mean, I think we're one of the most connected societies there ever was, simply because of people like you and the mediums that we have. Seems like we're a pretty connected society. And we've just seen Kerry Edwards and all this stuff for a whole week, just a week ago, and so it's it's not really exciting to me that they come through here whizzing by on a train or a bus. But the problem is that there's no message. They're just not bringing out any message. They don't have any solutions. They just want to gripe about what's been happening, but they haven't come up with any new solutions or any ways to get any of the things done.
Well, have you visited the Kerry Edwards website and downloaded their plan?
No, I haven't. Not
Well,
yet.
then I would suggest doing that.
Why didn't they lay it out at the convention? You know, I mean, that's another question. Hey, I got another issue that I'd like to bring up because you mentioned it a minute ago. The issue of the sports center downtown.
Okay, the arena? Yes.
I've been doing some reading, and it seems like that about 85 to 90% of all of the superdomes and arenas that have been built in great cities around the country, about 80% of them are bankrupt now and going out of business and being bulldozed and getting out of the way, and they're building other stuff there. Why would we want to go down that same road whenever nobody that's got money would want to invest money in it, because nobody in the private sector is building this or pushing this other than with public money? They're not using their own money to push it. They're only using public money. And, I mean, there's no need for it. I mean, a great amount of the citizens are not going to go there because, first of all, you can't fill up Lawrence Dumont Stadium. They haven't been able to fill up the new Coke Arena. They have not filled up the Coliseum in years. The only thing that filled it up was a religious meeting with Franklin Graham. So why would we want to get a larger unit downtown that we're not going to fill up, and it's not going to pay for itself?
No, it's not going to pay for itself. You're right. And, you know, if everything in this country had to be based on a business decision, we'd be in worse shape than we are today. You can't look at everything in terms of a business decision. That's what's wrong with this country. We look at too many things in terms of a business decision. Once
it's my money, I'm going to look at it as a business decision.
Right, but here's what we're looking at. Right now, they're looking at a 1-cent sales tax for 33 months. At the end of the 33 months, it goes away. That's what they're looking at.
That's not historically been proven to be true.
It's on the ballot that way. The only way that tax can continue after 33 months is another vote. So that's the way the statute's going to be written. It's going to take a special state law to create that sales tax, and it'll be done after the public vote.
Well, the one thing that's really happening well in this is that we are going to get a chance to vote. I'm really glad that they're doing that. And another thing that they're doing well is they're getting out and having meetings. And I encourage everybody to go to those meetings because they are very informative. They're laying the thing out in front of people so that you can see what they're trying to do and what they're trying to plan and seeing if you're for it or against it. And so I think that's really good. And so if people think they're not getting a fair shake, then they ought to go out to those meetings and get informed on it. So I encourage that. I still just don't see the value of that happening since we can't fill up the ones we've got.
Well, the point is it's going to allow us to attract meetings we don't have right now. That's number one.
Now, how's that going to happen?
Because there are larger conventions that we can't attract right now because we don't have a venue big enough for them. That we're losing to places like Springfield, Missouri. We're losing them to places like Tulsa, Little Rock, because they've got venues that can handle it. We don't.
Wasn't that the reason for the big hotel right there by Century 2?
Yes.
And I understand that they're financially strapped right now.
They are, it's not that they're financially strapped. They just weren't making as much money as the businessmen wanted them to.
I see.
But it was making money. I mean, it's turning a profit. It's just not turning a big enough profit.
Oh, okay.
So that was why the investors asked the city to buy them out, because it was only making a 1% profit, and they wanted a 7% profit.
Let me bring up another issue. Do you think there's enough people that could pay $50 to $75 a ticket to come and do events at this big new stadium that they're going to build down there? Is there enough people here to fill up 15,000 seats?
I think there is, and the sentiment you're hearing in the community is 15,000 isn't big enough, and I agree. They're now talking in terms of, okay, what would it take to build 18,500 seats, which to me makes more sense. Because
you can't fill up 10,000 seats at the Kansas Coliseum.
With what? Dirt shows, motocross,
Hockey?
minor league hockey, mind you.
Well,
I mean, it's AA hockey. You
think
better
you
expect
like-
a AA crowd.
are we going to be able to get in here like an NHL or a NFL or an NBA? I mean, are you looking at that? I don't think we're big enough city.
I don't think at this point that that's possible. But I think you could be looking in terms of maybe, at some point, maybe an IHL franchise. I mean, not an IHL, I mean an AHL franchise. You could be looking at that down the line. I think Wichita is perfectly capable of supporting AHL franchises if cities like Peoria and Alexandria, Louisiana can support AHL franchises, and those cities combined aren't Wichita's population.
Another financial issue that I just happen to think of. If you can't make it pay for itself, who's going to pay for it down the way? And if we're going to rescind that sales tax in, what'd you say, 4 or 5 years?
3 years and, well, it'd be 33 months.
33 months, almost 3 years. All right? So they're going to rescind that, and so there's not going to be that cost there. Then how are they going to pay for it if it's not going to pay for itself? Where's that money going to come from?
Well, you've got a sponsorship fee. There is supposedly an entity that's ready to shell out $10 million, to name it.
That's enough to maybe do a study about it. But you're talking 170 million, aren't you? To build it? 167 million, something like that?
Right. Well, with land acquisition, 170.
Okay.
But if it depends on where they go. If they go with the right place, if they build it in the right location, the city owns most of the land already. Mm-hmm. So if they go there, then you're looking at significantly less acquisition cost. The other thing that you're looking at is you're going to have about $1 million a year in concession fees in an arena that size.
And what would be the whole outlay of cost? I didn't get that information last night. For a year.
$1 million a year.
I mean, outlay of cost, though. That's just $1 million income.
Well, they're saying that if everything falls into place, the arena will probably lose somewhere in the neighborhood of $120,000 a year.
$120,000.
Which is, proportional considering what the Coliseum is losing.
Do you hear what you're saying, though? You're saying that all of them are losing. Why do another loser? I don't understand that. I just can't. That doesn't
because of what's going to come into the community when we do this. We're going to be able to get bigger conventions with an arena like that. We're going to be able to pull some major, for instance, some of the conventions that we've been missing. We've been missing major national conventions of a lot of Christian groups that are going to places like Little Rock and Omaha because they've got big enough venues. We've lost conventions to places like Des Moines, which is not quite the size of Wichita, because they've got the venue to support it. We don't. We're going to be able to get it. We're going to be able to get that much back in.
What kind of guarantee is that? I mean, that you're going to get these places, these things, these conventions.
They've inquired about it in the past. When they realized we didn't have the space, they went on. No convention's going to go to the same place 2 years in a row.
Okay.
So
you've answered some of my questions, and I appreciate getting to air my grease on the air.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Thanks for the call. And let's go to SF. Hi, SF. What's on your mind tonight?
Hello. Yeah. Well, first of all, accolades to your station for doing what you're doing. These so-called network stations that we have to force ourselves to watch. It's really embarrassing, and it's so refreshing to hear stations such as yours doing what you do. And I'm sorry, I missed that coverage you did. I think you said it was 3 days, where you had these unexpected crowds.
Well, what we did basically is we've been working for 3 days to put together this special on John Edwards' appearance in Lawrence.
Uh-huh.
Which, well, we decided, Ron said on the way back when we were going up to tape it, he said, let's just run this thing end to end.
Wow.
And unedited, and just let people see what we saw and let them make their own judgments.
See, that's incredible. I mean, that's ingenuity. I mean, come on. Forget the commercials. I mean, and you said that they were very brief. And when there was a break, it was just because of necessity.
Yeah.
And,
I mean,
and that's it. But, I mean, that's refreshing broadcasting. And it's a shame these other, you know which channels I'm talking about.
Exactly.
They don't do nothing like this you're talking about, and it's a shame. It's a disgrace to the broadcasting industry, and that's my opinion. And as far as this most recent controversy regarding this new complex, I mean, Wichita, Kansas, go for it, because this is a very sophisticated city. I mean, I've been in every major city in America, and Wichita has nothing to be ashamed of. There are some very sophisticated people here. There is money here.
Yes.
But it's the ones that don't have it that probably complain the most.
Yeah.
And again, I'm only opining, but it's pretty common sense. And but accolades to your station.
Well,
And we'll keep watching.
well, we sure appreciate it.
Well, we'll keep watching.
Thanks
Keep
for the
up
call.
Good work.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
And let's go to, I guess we lost Terry. Let's go to Mike. Hi, Mike. What's on your mind tonight?
Well, a lot of things. I am sorry that I was unable to catch that about Edwards coming, but I like the idea of what you did there. That is a lot better idea than the pundits trying to throw their spin on it and everybody having to back decipher how much of that was BS and how much was real. And so let people draw their own conclusions.
Exactly. That was the whole idea. Draw your own conclusion.
And it is a sad commentary that this strikes us as something new and innovative for somebody to actually practice that kind of journalism. It just shows you how far off base all the punditry is, for the most part. To the local issues here, as I recall, we were promised we would not have anything to do with any kind of debt involved in the Hyatt Hotel. We are now stuck with that. It's the same old bait and switch we've had on just about everything that we've gotten along the way. As to the arena, go home if you're going to talk 15,000. It's a joke. You should not even be talking. The difference between 15,000 and 18.5 is not significant enough either. I remember back in 2000, I told the Sports and Tourism Convention guy when Joe Boyd was in charge of the the outfit that was promoting the Raw team for downtown Wichita.
Convention and Visitors Bureau.
Right, and I said, you guys aren't doing your job right. Nobody with a half an ounce of brains wants an arena here in Wichita because we do not traditionally support sports teams. This was before the Wings left town. After the Wings left town, you couldn't even make a strong enough argument. 3 times now we've turned them down on an arena. My comment to him was, if you guys want to sell blue sky, give somebody a brass ring large enough to grab for. My personal idea is that if you're talking about doing something, you should be talking 22 to 30,000 on an arena. But my other thing was, if you guys are going to sell blue sky, why is nobody in the year 2000 talking about how we're going to have the Olympics here in 2024? I quit saying that because 6 months later they hired the guy who helped Sydney, Australia get the Olympics. And I thought, boy, if you people don't know when your leg's being pulled, that's pretty sad, and this kind of thing. So they apparently can't tell reality from delusion. The problem with this whole kind of thing, the way I see it, is that we're being asked to accept that it is somehow a value that we establish more bricks and mortar for which there will be ongoing payments for, and claim that it's going to bring something that's somehow going to benefit us into the community. The world does not revolve around people with small amounts of brains and large amounts of discretionary income to go willy-nilly to other people's cities to just broadcast their money all about because they have nothing better to do with their time. That would be an occasional thing to do, and it does not solve problems. It just contributes to this same old consumerist mentality, in my way of looking at things, and that's what has gotten us to the overuse of what resources there are on the face of the earth to begin with. There are many other things that we could be putting our efforts towards. And while I do not have anything against enterprises that support themselves, I would point out that the boathouse was a private foundation, because otherwise we would have had to pay back the money that was given by the government to the senior center when it was set up for that. and then it was given back after that deadline had passed on that. We've never built the crosswalk over, for which we've received federal funds from, before it was the Radisson, from the Broadview over to the parking garage across there, and that's been, 10, 15 years ago that we got the money on this.
Right.
The list goes on and on of the things that they do, such as the Downtown Special Taxation District, which the city had to weigh in on as landowner and number of votes to get it through the second time when they were told no in no uncertain terms the first time around. This is perfidious nonsense to do this. In other words, we'll ask your opinion, and if you tell us what we want to hear, we'll do it, and by God, we're doing the will of the people. But if you tell us what we don't want to hear, well, you're only an advisory group, and you're not to be paid attention to, almost like the CPOs, and this kind of thing. The problem with this kind of thing is that our values seem to me to be coercively shaped in the direction of mass market commodification for the purposes of scraping off the monies that go in form of taxes to do nothing more than concentrating more wealth and power in the hands of fewer and fewer people and more directing the daily lives. I kind of like the idea, for example, that the Amish and the simple people had. Their dolls did not have faces because of the prohibition against graven images. Now, your kids today get to have a choice. They've either got to pick Ronald McDonald or Burger King, or they got to pick Barbie or Ken or the new replacements. We're building a world where those things are important, and the things that make us survivable as for lack of a better term, for a cohesive social unit are less important.
Mike, you've given us a lot of good ideas here, but I got a break for commercial.
Okay.
Appreciate the call. Jimmy, Raymond, Dale, walk around the corner with us. We're going to take a short break here, and we will be back with more of your phone calls as the River City Forum continues on KCTU 5 right after these messages.
My mom. I can't see.
He can't see. Come on, baby. Come on.
Is that good?
Daddy, I don't want to be on the end.
Marriage, you're never too far apart when you're still holding hands. From your neighbors, the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints.
Once in a lifetime, you can experience a singer whose voice can stir your soul. On August 7th at 6 p.m., Success Incorporated presents Yolanda Adams in Summer Bash for the benefit of Success Incorporated's work with drug, alcohol, anger management, and problem youth services. For 13 years, Success Incorporated and its 5 counselors have been known for success in their drug addiction counseling. Support Success Incorporated's great work by attending the Summer Bash with Yolanda Adams, August 7th at 9th in Wabash. Tickets available at Success Incorporated.
If your hair needs professional help, Sparkles Hair Design can help. Everything we do is for the beauty in you and your hair. For 14 years, Sparkles Hair Design's 2 cosmetologists and a barber have been creating that special look in hair care for all the family, including small children. Known in the community for their creativity, Sparkles Hair Design uses Dudley and Mazzani products and participates in local events. The next time your hair is in need of TLC, get it at Sparkles Hair Design in the newly remodeled salon at 1017 East 9th, Wichita, where walk-ins are always welcome.
And we are back here on the River City Forum here on KCTU 5. I'm RJ Dickens. We're glad you could be with us on this Tuesday night. Just want to remind you, you can join Tracy Crockett and I Monday through Thursday at 4:30 for Wichita's first evening newscast. KCTU 5 reports at 4:30. And join Tracy, Tammy Geist, and, well, this Friday, me, at 4 on Fridays for your first look at the weekend. KCTU 5 reports Friday. Without further ado, let's go back to the phones. Let's talk to Jimmy. Hi, Jimmy. What's on your mind tonight?
How you doing, RJ?
Good.
Well, we're back to the arena, and I'm glad to hear what that guy said a while ago about the 25,000, because you and I have talked about that before, and as to why. Because if you make more seats, you can sell cheaper tickets.
Exactly.
Right. And also, that thing that we've talked about government being involved. When government's involved, or cities involved, or states involved, it's that, oh, well, we can do this, but it don't work. Oh, well. When businesses put their money up, they have something they have to do. They're out to make money. They have to make money. And there's not that much of importance when city government is involved. And there's not that much of a kick them in the tail and make this happen. It's just like, let's build it and they will come. Because I've not seen any marketing campaign, anything that goes on. And I'm a salesman. And I tell you, my theory is it can't never did anything. This can happen if it was done with the right frame of mind. I mean, I don't want to see Wichita just be a ghost town or whatever, nothing going on here. I mean, there's opportunities that could happen here, and you got to make people want to do something. And you can't do that. You got to realize what the people have a problem with, and try to answer those problems, like I mentioned about transportation. For a lot of people, because people are afraid to drive downtown because of DUIs and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. You got to have avenues and deal with those problems before you build a thing. You got to find out what it is. You got to find out. But you were talking about, well, they may bring in here, they may bring here. They had Miss Teen USA here a few years back. That could have been a gold mine here, and
we could have kept it permanently if we'd have just played our cards right.
Right. I mean, just things like that could have been good for that arena, And there's things that can be done here that would bring conventions here and stuff like that. But I don't see a marketing management going on here. I see some politicians that are going, well, let's just build it and see what happens. And and that's what worries me.
Have you been to the arena meetings yet?
No.
Go to one. Now, these things they're going to answer those questions. They've got a whole booth. It's not a meeting where you sit down and you hear a bunch of presenters. Basically what it is, you've got a bunch of booths that go around and talk about various aspects. And one of the booths is exactly about the marketing. So it's just walk in, get the information, leave at your convenience.
Okay, if this is going to be a government project, which apparently it is, when I say government, I'm talking about city and county or whatever, tell the people, put something back to the people. Now, they're making this investment, okay? You're wanting our tax dollars. How about whatever profits you make, you put in the education system? Do something.
In Kansas, you can't do that.
Okay, that's right. You can't do that in Kansas. But put something in areas that can show positive for the community in return. Okay, city, we're investing in you. Now you invest back in the community.
That's a valid point. But like I said, go to one of the meetings. There's going to be 2 more this week, and then they'll take a week off for visioneering, and then there'll be another 4 meetings the following week. So take the time and go to one of those meetings. And
I'd like very much to see an arena downtown, the Riverwalk, and the whole ball of wax. I like to see Wichita, get some class to it. And not just be, look at some of these buildings, like the jail downtown and the Hyatt. I mean, those are ugly-looking buildings, man. The architect must have been out and smoking something.
Well, I've always thought that Hyatt would look better with a Motel 6 sign on it.
Yeah, that's about all it's worth. Motel 6 probably has more worth to it. It'd be actual. I know you got other callers, so I'll let you go.
All right, thanks for the call. And let's go to Raymond. Hi, Raymond. What's on your mind tonight?
Hello. I have listened to all of these comments, And I have a couple to make, too. We are going to put up a lot of money to build something that will have an attraction to get people into Wichita.
Right.
Okay. We get them in here, and what are they going to do? They're going to the hotels, they're going to the motels, they're going to go to the restaurants.
Right.
What else are they going to do?
Shop.
That isn't going to put money into everybody's pocket. It's just going to put money in a few people's pockets. And I think the people that are going to profit from this should be the ones that sponsor it. They should be the ones that pay for it. Not us poor people that's got to sit out here and pay taxes and can't afford to go to a $75 show.
Well, not all the shows are going to be $75, but the thing of it is that a larger arena is going to give us a bigger variety of what would be available. And of course, again, we haven't talked enough about convention traffic. That is where I think the arena helps sustain itself through the additional convention traffic that a larger venue can bring to Wichita.
That's just probably true that it would help. But before we're through with all of this, and we've got all this money involved, and we're taxing the people to get something that isn't going to pay for itself.
Mm-hmm.
Why can't we use a little of this expertise and do something worthwhile, like build some schools in Wichita, pay for them instead of having 90 people laid off because we can't afford them?
Well, that is because state aid didn't rise enough.
It's because we've got people that are operating our city that don't care whether they spend it on something worthwhile or something that they can profit from.
But under Kansas law, cities can't spend monies on schools. City and schools are two different levels of government.
But the city is paying taxes to support these schools.
The people of the city are, but the city isn't.
No. Well, that's what I'm saying. We're having to put that money up.
Mm-hmm.
After all, I'm not a kid anymore. I've been around Wichita for 60 or 70 years,
mm-hmm.
and I'm quite a bit older than that. And I've owned several businesses,
mm-hmm.
and I didn't have the support of anybody to do what I had to do. I done it myself. Now, I find that it's a little ridiculous to spend money on something that isn't going to bring in any money to the people or the general public.
Mm-hmm.
After all, we should be educating our kids, and I see that the state board has said that Wichita's schools are inadequate. And for instance, Derby got a bad name, and Wichita was so bad that they didn't even put them on the list yet.
Well, the problem with that is the good old No Child Left Behind law, which is probably the greatest unfunded federal mandate in American history. Because there is no way that any school any school district is going to avoid a needs improvement rating based on the impossible standards that they've set. That they just have no basis in reality. And that's why that is. But, Raymond, I do need to move on. We are jammed tonight.
Oh, I understand.
Appreciate the call.
Yeah, all right.
And let's go to Dale. Thanks for waiting patiently. What's on your mind tonight?
How you doing?
Great.
Well, I didn't have a TV guy tonight, so after the Medill-Lehrer report went off, I started running the channels. And lo and behold, there was somebody doing Edwards. I thought, well, I kind of like him. I believe I'll watch this. So I sat there and got a great deal out of it until you got to the latter part, and then the sound was kind of...
Well, that's the problem. The problem was we showed you what we saw, you heard what we heard.
Well, the sound wasn't good on that last part.
Yeah, the sound when he got outside, the sound quality was next to impossible.
But I really admired the way that you did it, because there was no opinion of your own put into it. There was no spin whatsoever. It was just the way it happened.
I wish I could take credit for this, but this was the idea of our general manager, Ron Nutt, who shot that we do it this way.
That was a great idea, because I used to be a firefighter here in town.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes we'd go out and fight a fire like at 10 o'clock in the morning, and get back into the station, be sitting around the table, dinner time, at noon, and there would be that fire on TV. We would watch it.
Right.
And we'd all ask each other, did they go to the same fire we went to?
Right, exactly. I think, this was a stroke of genius on Ron's part. This was Ron Nutt's idea.
Yeah, but
that
the
we
time
do
they
it this
got out
way.
working with the news piece they put on, we who had been there putting the doggone fire out couldn't recognize any place we'd ever been in our lives.
That happens too many times in this business.
But I was really impressed with what you did. I must say that I haven't watched Channel 5 much before. You're kind of a new station for me. How long have you been around?
12 years.
12 years, huh? Well, I didn't live in Wichita until just about a year and a half ago, so that's a good excuse for not having watched you that long. But I really appreciate what I watched there tonight, and I hope you do some more of that. I'd even watch the Republicans, although I don't plan on voting for any of them at the top of the ticket this year.
Well, like I said, if the opportunity presents itself, we'll do exactly the same thing.
Well, I hope you do. I'm sort of an independent, but I've got two sons that are in the United States Army. And I really got tired of having one over there about 5 miles from where they found Saddam Hussein for 8 months. It was right there. And I think we've had way too many men over there too long. Seems to me that we didn't figure a good way to pull ourselves out of that sticky ball of mess. So I'm not too happy with Bush.
Well,
Republicans can jump in here and tell us what a great man he is.
And they will, believe me. But I it's just my thing is I'm not against George Bush. John Edwards is an individual that I've had the opportunity to speak to on a number of occasions on broadcast policy, because we are a low power station, we aren't on cable. We've had to fight to get laws changed so that people will have, so that we can operate on the same level playing field that the other stations have. And most politicians will go in one ear and out the other. That is, the ones that don't look you right in the eye when you finished giving your spiel and say, okay, who's got the money on your side?
Yeah.
John Edwards wasn't like that. John Edwards was sitting there not only listening, he was saying, well, he actually came out with two ideas that we hadn't considered, that he wanted to try. And that's what impressed me about John Edwards from the get-go.
Both Edwards and Kerry impressed me as guys that you could sit down and talk to.
They are. Well, I've done it. I've met both John Kerry and John Edwards. I've known John Kerry now for about 10 years. And
I'm sure glad you showed us what you did. And if they get anywhere close to here again, try to do the same thing again, will you?
We will. And like I say, if the Republicans get close, we will.
Turn up here, although I think they're going to take it for granted that Kansas always votes Republican. They don't need to come here to campaign.
There is increasing talk. I've heard chatter that President Bush will be coming into Kansas again before November. The Kerry Edwards people were just so blown away by what happened Sunday that I think you're going to, when the next appearance in the Joplin area, I think you'll see them cross over and come to Pittsburgh, possibly during Little Balkans Days, which is, that's a great party if you've never been there, folks.
I wish they'd come to Wichita and get a tremendous turnout.
I think you might see that.
Nothing else, it would just scare the hell out of the Republicans for a change.
If Kerry Edwards is leading late enough in the race, I think you'll see a repeat of what you saw in 1992 when Al Gore came to Wichita. I think you will see John Edwards in Wichita if the lead holds. So, that remains to be seen. Like I said, I've heard that there may be 2 more appearances by Kerry and/or Edwards in Kansas before this is over.
That'll be great.
As a result
I'd
of what
like
they saw.
get some publicity out of this.
I think they will. I think, like I said, Sunday was incredible. I mean, you had to be there to understand it. I mean, if you had seen the incredible driving rain that we had to drive through to get up there, and the fact
that it ticked a lot of people off when the train just barely slowed down 2 nights before.
I swear up and down there had to be a Dick Tuck involved. You see, there was a similar incident that happened in 1960 with Richard Nixon. He was making a stop in Pennsylvania, and he got to the back of the car, was getting ready to make a speech, And a Democratic operative by the name of Dick Tuck, who was dressed as a railroad flagman, went up to the conductor and waved him on. And so as Nixon started speaking, the train started moving again. And I swear up and down there's got to be a Republican Dick Tuck somewhere in Lawrence that night.
Must have been something like that.
That's what I have to believe that's what happened. But
you have to feel like a total fool to go to the back of the train to make a speech and just see the people go whizzing past you.
Yeah, that was Elizabeth Edwards said that they were, Cheryl Nutt talked to Elizabeth Edwards very briefly Sunday, and they were mad about it, and that's why they came back. And you know, just the emails that we got back and forth. And you know, the funny thing is, we were the only Wichita station that got a call from the Edwards campaign. The others we got emailed. We got a call.
I can believe old Mrs. Edwards, not Mrs. Edwards, Mrs. Carey probably told that conductor where he could stick his train.
You're probably right, knowing Teresa.
I'll let you go, but it's been great watching you this evening.
Well, we appreciate it.
We'll see you around on the tube.
Okay, thanks for the call.
Bye-bye.
And let's go to Roy. Hi, Roy. What's on your mind tonight?
How you doing, RJ?
Good.
I watched the Edwards speech, and you know what I say about that? Thank you, Democrats, for your help. Help is on the way. Can I be a little sarcastic?
Well, looks like I can't stop you.
Help is on its way. Thank you, John Kerry, for helping us when we don't have any jobs. Thank you, John Edwards, when I hit bad luck or fall on bad times and don't have the brains to go out there and find me a job, or smart enough to know a job is a job. I can work for less until things get better. Thank you, John Edwards. Thank you very, very much. And I know black people are very happy. They are so happy that hope is on its way. That's all we got, RJ, is hope. Did you know that? That's all we got is hope. Hope that still to live in poverty. Hope to believe on that if they're elected, that we're going to still stay in poverty. Hope that if we're depressed, ain't no NAACP ain't going to ever do really nothing about it, because the same thing has been the same ever since they came in power. Thank you very much. I liked the speech. I really did. It makes a stronger America. It does. It really does. Charity makes a stronger America. And anytime I could give to you Democrats, please give me a holler. I'd be glad to.
Okay.
Mr. RJ,
all right.
Well, let me say that.
Thanks for the call. And we're supposed to take a break here, but I'm going to take a little prerogative and say, no, we're not. Let's go to the phones. Let's talk to Virginia. Hi, Virginia. What's on your mind tonight?
My mind is the police officers that don't obey the laws of the city and the state. You drive down the street in a construction area, and they pass you going 40 and 45 miles an hour when it says 30 and 35.
Mhm.
They make U-turns, and they make left-hand turns when there's no left-hand turns, and they don't have their light on. Now, if they had their light on, it'd be different, but when they don't have their light on, they're no different than the rest of us.
Well, I understand what you're saying. Have you called down to City Hall and talked to anybody about that?
No, because I wouldn't know who to call and talk to.
Yeah, call the chief's office.
Okay.
That's where I'd start.
Okay. Thank you.
All right, thanks for the call.
Mm-hmm.
And now we're going to take another quick break, and we will be back with more of your phone calls as the River City Forum continues on KCTU 5 right after these messages.
Growing up in a small town, I did everything. From class president, captain of the cheerleading squad, to Girl Scouts. I was involved. I guess that's why KCTU is such a good fit for me. I get to be involved in everything. One day I might be out in the field reporting with a camera in hand, and the next I am in the newsroom producing the newscast. You never know what you'll see me doing.
Looking at the grasshopper, huh?
Yeah.
Good choice. Time is money.
Yes.
Imagine faster mowing speeds, true zero-turn maneuverability, effortless control. You'll cut your mowing time in half. Plus dependability, backed by one of the best warranties in the industry.
I'll take it.
Super. I'll get someone to help you.
You don't work here?
Alice, your husband Herb is here. Again.
Get more details on the mower turf care professionals prefer at your nearby Grasshopper dealer today.
And we are back here on the River City Forum on KCTU 5. I'm RJ Dickens, and we're glad you could be with us on this Tuesday night. Just going to take a moment here to catch our breath before we go back to the phones. I want to remind you once again, you can join Tracy Crockett and I every Monday through Thursday at 4:30 for Wichita's first evening newscast. KCTU 5 reports at 4:30. You can join Tracy, Tammy Geist, and this Friday me for your first look at the weekend. KCTU 5 reports Friday at 4 o'clock every Friday. Your first look at news, first at 4:30, first on 5. And, of course, the rest of the River City Forum lineup. Tomorrow night, of course, James Barfield will be in this chair. Cheryl Nutt will be here Thursday. And she'll have her own take on this. She actually got to talk to John and Elizabeth Edwards while Ron and I were out shooting the crowd shots. But you'll have a chance to get her take on what happened when you watch Thursday night. And of course, Friday night, Phil Journey will be here. And I'm sure if he's watching tonight, he'll have a chance to rebut some of what he saw if he was watching tonight. But we will go back to the phones here now. We've got about 4 minutes. Let's talk to Philip. Hi, Philip. What's on your mind tonight?
Yes, I have a question for you.
Sure.
You alluded to the fact that the city employees had a 2% pay raise.
2.5%.
And then the police department is wanting a 5%?
On top of that.
What? Well, why is that?
That's what the union said they wanted. And the fact finder released their report today. And this was just one of the demands that the police department, the police union made.
To me, that's totally ridiculous.
Well, I realize it's a dangerous profession. But the thing of it is that the average pay for a policeman is $9,000 more than the average pay for everyone else in this part of the state.
That's true.
So they are, and you look at the fact that the budget's already set for next year. So by law, they can't go back and give any more money. They'd have to cut money from somewhere else, and where are you going to cut it? So that's, it's just, I think the timing of this, if nothing else, is what I find questionable. And the timing is the biggest thing I question. But everything else, like I say, I'm wondering why now.
Yeah, that's true.
But like I said, I think, if everybody's getting 2.5%, and all of a sudden we're coming in, we want 5% more on top of that. That's how fair is that?
Oh, that's not.
So that's my take on it.
Well, I was just curious because I heard you allude to it earlier.
Yeah. What?
Actually, they're wanting 7% then.
7.5%.
Sure. I think everybody's trying to just juice money out of the general public.
You wonder sometimes, don't you?
Yeah, the way they write tickets out.
Yeah. This is true.
Justify or non-justify.
Well, you got to wonder sometimes. You really do sometimes.
All right, well, thank you. That was my comment.
All right, thanks for the call. Terry, I got about 30 seconds.
Okay, I wanted to address this arena thing. I think they need to think about that more and then look at the WSU football. Bring it back. I think Wichita would support WSU men's football more than any other sport up there right now, and an arena downtown.
Well, two questions. Have you been to either of the arena meetings yet?
No.
Are you going?
Probably not. I don't see why the citizens should pay for this arena.
Okay. And have you been to any of the visioneering meetings?
No.
Are you going to any of them next week?
Oh, probably so, yeah.
Okay, that's what I got. We are out of time here. Thank you so much for watching. Tracy and I will be back in at 4:30 tomorrow for your first look at Wichita Evening News. KCTU reports at 4:30. And James Barfield will be in this chair tomorrow night at 7 for the River City Forum. Early edition is next. Thanks for watching.
Floyd's Echo Computers at 2718 Boulevard Plaza offers computer solutions instead of computer questions. Don't put up with one more blank stare from a kid whose only concern is how much longer his shift is. You want quality service and fair prices. Floyd's Echo Computers is where you'll find it. PC or Mac, if it's a computer, Floyd's will give you the quality service you deserve. Get a computer